so many owners are so frustrated when they open that they're their worst enemy. You know, we're killing our businesses faster than the mandates do because we're fighting back instead of evolving. You have to, if there's one lesson of this whole, whatever we talked today, Jim, one lesson of this is if you don't let go of 2019 and accept the reality of how business is today, you will fail.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Masters in Fitness Business Podcast, which is brought to you by the Association of Fitness Studios. It's the official podcast of ASF. It's a great organization, everything you need to make your business successful. Go to asffitness.com. And I have a true master back on the program today. I've lost track of how many times you've been on the podcast, Tom. It's the man who needs no introduction. He's been in the fitness business for over 40 years. He's still relevant today, especially at times like this, during this whole COVID pandemic thing and how it has changed the landscape of the fitness business. So he's back on today because I posed a question to him, because I know that all the virus counts are going up and some states are rolling back and closing gyms again. And so I posed the question to Tom, what do you do if you have to close your business again? And then he said, I love to talk about that. And then he hit me with a bunch of other options. So we're going to a bunch of other topics that I think are relevant to this issue. So we're going to tackle those today. But Thomas Plummer, if you don't know him, you should know him. He's head of the National Fitness Business Alliance. He is an international speaker. He's written several books, including this one that I was just using, The Soul of a Trainer. If you don't have it, go out and pick it up. I just happen to have it right here because I was using it for one of my other podcasts during story time. And then check out one of his seminars. He does seminars on the fitness business, on public speaking, on social media, on master classes, you name it. This guy has been around and he has created some of the fitness giants that you know and love today. We're talking the Cosgroves, Gray Cook, Rick Mayo. Who else am I forgetting, Tom?
our boy Frank. You gotta throw
Frank Nash. Frank Nash. Yours truly. So welcome to the show, Tom, and it's always a pleasure. I always love talking to you.
Thanks. I wish we could talk in better times. As we talked earlier, so these guys know that we'll have to do this over cocktails sometime because most of these subjects lend themselves to a couple of shots first. But I someday I hope we get back and talk about good things. But I think the subject today is going to be hard. It's going to be an uncomfortable subject for a lot of people as we talk today, for sure.
Yeah. And we're definitely going to put together that cocktail hour because one of the things, one of my first seminars, weekend-long seminars with you was the speaker workshop out in San Francisco. And it was tough. I don't mind telling you. But one thing that I took away from that weekend was that cocktail hour is where the gold is. So if you go out to the social hour and you get a couple of glasses of wine and Tom, he will give you the world, my friends. So
That's when we ask the best questions.
Yeah,
Everybody's
exactly.
Afraid until you got to put 2 glasses of wine in somebody to get them to ask me the right questions.
Yeah, exactly.
They come in afraid. It's like, oh God, he's been around for 40 years. I can't ask him anything. And then 2 glasses later, the guy's like, so what, should I break up with my wife and sell my business, or what do you think? And that's when the real stuff comes out, you know? So yeah. But again, it's something I've adjusted to, that I have to put cocktails into people to get them to talk. I'm good with that though. That's
absolutely.
Works for me.
Absolutely. So I'll let you know when we're putting together the cocktail hour. We may even have some surprise pop-in guests for you. But anyway, back to the task at hand, talking today. So when I invited you on, you sent me this letter, and it's a pretty substantial letter because you're a prolific writer. I mean, it's several pages, and like you said, it could have been 20, but it had so many great points in there. And the first one that I want to get to is acceptance of the current situation. This is going to be our reality for quite some time. So you want to talk to the listeners about that?
Yeah, this is the darkest news I could give you. Is this we're going to be in this under restrictions. We're going to be operating at half loads. Some states are you have to shut down every couple hours to fumigate your gym. All these strange rules are coming out. We're going to be under restrictions, under um, government mandates, at least until May of next year. You have to prepare that this is in for the long haul. There is no, this is going to be done. We reopen, my clients come back. Yay, let's go. We're back. It's cycling back. And the key thing we have to think about is when virus meets flu season, it's going to be a worse cluster than it already is. So we have to prepare. And the thing that I wrote that letter, and we're going to send that out to everybody. If anybody wants to copy the letter, all they have to do is email you and just send me along their emails. I'll make sure everybody gets it. But we have to start to look at this as a long-term adjustment, and we're never going to go back to 2019. It's not happening. So you have to look at your business and objectively reposition it, let it evolve into what it's going to take to survive until May of next year and beyond. The government is going to be involved, and that frustrates so many of our owners. And there's something I really like to talk about. I'll throw it out here quickly now, but it's there. So many owners are so frustrated when they open that they're their worst enemy. We're killing our businesses faster than the mandates do because we're fighting back instead of evolving. You have to, if there's one lesson of this whole, whatever we talked today, Jim, one lesson of this is if you don't let go of 2019 and accept the reality of how business is today, you will fail. There's no way around it. There's no way you're going to do this. But people just want it so badly to go back. I want them in my gym. I want a high five. I can't believe I can't hug people. I can't believe, I want 30 people in my group again, pushing sleds and screaming, and I want the music. And it's not coming back. We're going to be under some kind of strange restrictions at least until May of next year. At that point, all the major World Health Organizations agree. At that point, there'll either be a vaccine or we'll be to a certain part of herd immunity, and this thing will have evolved. And either way, we'll be back to whatever the new normal is at that time. And then one more point when I'm on that rant is the client is actually ahead of us now. The client has changed and evolved more quickly than the gyms are. The clients are okay, I'm locked down, I'm working at home. There's hundreds of websites and stuff out there talking about the new work at home economy and how companies are scaling back already doing this. And the client's adjusted, the job evolved his life. The jobs themselves have changed. The client has different expectations of a gym. They want a perfect example, nutrition. The client, weight loss is important, but as you're a coach, you got to get way beyond nutrition for weight loss. You have to get into nutrition for, my kids. How do I keep them safe? How do I arm my kid to go to school? My wife's got to go back into the workforce. She's working in a limited space office, but she's still back. How do I keep her safe? It's immune systems. It's target specific nutrition for separate age groups. You got clients over 60. We know they don't eat a lot of protein. We know instinctively they stop drinking as much water. We know that they set themselves up for vulnerability. Coaches aren't coaching that. They can tell you how to take off 10 pounds, but they can't tell you how to keep people safe. So that the business has evolved and it is changing. The client has changed and moved ahead of us. And so many owners are still like, okay, next week I'm going to be back to this next week. You're not. 2019 is gone. May of next year is our new reality. We need to prepare the owners, the gyms, and to adapt to what's going on today as it's going to be for at least the next year.
Yeah, Tom, I agree with you 100%. And I think we talked a little bit before we started recording. There's a couple of things I want to unpack in what you just said. First of all, I think that the fitness industry, and we talked about this, I think the fitness industry has a history of getting in its own way, in that trainers tend to be on the younger side and they tend to think that everybody thinks like them. So if me and all of my buddies agree, then everybody agrees. But they don't realize that not all their clients feel that way, and then I think a lot of owners fall into the trap of, okay, we're going to open up with these safety features, and then they open up, and the first people to come in are the people who don't give a shit about the safety features. So then they can fall into the trap of safety protocols, and then they can fall into the trap of thinking, okay, well, nobody cares about the safety protocol, so let's just give them lip service and not really hone in on them and truly practice. And then when they do that, they set themselves up for danger, maybe have a COVID positive person in their business, which can kill your business. And then all of those people who are on the far end of that continuum of, oh my God, if I got to be safe if I leave the house, and I may die if I get this virus, you're not addressing them. So they're not going to come into your club. So you just cut your membership in half. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, your number there is I'm still taking 20 to 30 calls a week, 6-7 days a week, with all around the world that guys are struggling. It's kind of funny. This week I've already talked to Australia, Brazil, and London, and we're on Tuesday. It's an insane what's going on. I threw in Canada this morning, so I'll throw that in. My first call today was a Canadian guy I've been working with. Is doing real well in this, by the way. But what happens is you said it, and it was driven mostly by social media, is owners, they get shut down, and then they start to follow the social media, and then there's that core of 20, 30 clients. It's like, let's go, Jim, let's open, we're back, we'll be there. And again, the trainer usually tend to be younger, but even the older trainers, meaning guys up into their 50s, I'm seeing they're making the same mistakes. So when they open their gyms, they don't believe in the protocols, so they don't. Now, the weird thing is all that's going to be taken away from us, because the states, even Florida, which is a more red style state that's fought back for a while, even in Jacksonville, 1 million people, they've just come out and you have to wear a mask mandated in any inside business. It's just mandated. So this whole debate over the mask, I want to stay out of politics. I just don't ever get into that. But the mask is, if you look at the clients, you have 3 segments of clients. You have a client that is that guy on social media, will be there. They walk in the gym. They don't want to wear a mask. They're back. It's like it never ended. They're bulletproof in their head, except in Florida, for example, the highest rate of infections and death is now in the 30s. But then you have that client that's timid, and then that client that is terrified. When the gyms reopened, the first clients in were usually the guys that, we're bulletproof, but they kept all the other clients out. And that is, I've been around this so many decades in this industry that, I have a very strong sense of BS detector. When somebody calls me and says, I reopened and I'm back to 90% of my clients already, and I'm going, no, you're not. You don't even know how to count, but no, you're not, because it's everything you did was wrong. So there are a few exceptions to that rule. I'm sure there are, but almost everybody calls me and says, look, I got back to 50. How do I get them back? I said, what state are you in? Are you wearing masks? Are you wearing gloves? Are you practicing the safety protocols by your state, by your city? Are you doing anything? No, we started, as you said, and then we backed away because, a client came in and he didn't have a mask on and he kind of made fun of our team. And so we let him work out. And then all of a sudden, over 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you lose control of it. Well, that 50% is all you're ever going to get back, because the timid are waiting for you to post online, okay, here we are working out, we're safe, we're all practicing protocols. Well, you can't post that because there's no mask. And you can't post that for the terrified people. They will not come back because you completely blew them out of the water. So we forget the power of that. I've been around, but by decades have proved how long I've been around. But I go out, I'm looking, I'll go out and eat outside. I'll sit, but I'm looking for a guy with a mask. I'm looking for a guy with gloves. I'm looking for somebody that at least looks at us and puts the optics on that they're trying to keep people safe in the restaurant. But if a guy comes up, leans in, touches the wine list and says, this is the one you should do, and the guy's face is right here by me, I'm done with that guy, because I'm in a state where people are dying, more rapidly now. And it's like, dude, back away, And so if I'm your gym member and I'm in that target group of over 60 and I'm standing there, I'm waiting for you to show leadership to keep me safe. So, the guys that opened and then got shut down, but then when they opened, they've still only had 50% of the clients. So now the hard thing for them is now while they're closed again, have to rebuild trust and build these gyms back. So the second time they open, that they get a chance to do it, because you will not get a third time. That second round, you're done. If you don't get it right, you guys that got opened and shut, if you don't get it right the next time, you're gone. There's nothing you can do to save those gyms.
Yeah. And, the other thing that I want to talk about, I know we talked about it in past podcasts, is that your personal feelings and your politics have no place in your business. And I soon realized that regardless of how I feel about this, whether I feel like it's a hoax or the most deadliest thing ever, it doesn't matter. As an owner, as a business owner, I have to do whatever I can to make sure the doors stay open, that my business doesn't close. And that means no COVID inside of my facility. And I have to make sure that I'm taking care of my staff and my clients. And I have to be professional about that. And what I feel about the politics of it, what I feel about whether it's real or some kind of hoax, doesn't matter. What matters is my business staying open. And I got to do whatever I have to do to ensure that. You want to expand on that?
I was dealing with this. I posted online. I've stayed off social media for about 3 weeks. Oh.
Yeah, I got you. I had you the whole time.
Okay. So I was mentioning I stayed off social media, following up on your point. I stayed off social media for probably 3 weeks because it was so toxic. And I wrote something on there. I said, look, guys, I'm not one side or the other. I'm your business coach. So think about this. And some guy messaged me, and it was one of the ugliest, nastiest messages. He says, you have no right to tell gym owners, stay out of politics. That is our right. And I said, I'm not denying your right. And he says, this is we live in America. We can do what we want. I said, you can, but the client has the right to take their money and business somewhere else because they don't agree with you. And it's just the owners. I do not deny your rights. I don't care. But when you're on social media and there was this female coach. She's in her mid-50s. I've known her for probably 20 years, East Coast, and I really respect her. She was early. She was a coach when women weren't as accepted. She's proven, that she can hang, longevity, just a well-respected coach. And she reposted this far right political thing. And she goes, I know I'm going to lose friends on this. And, some of you are going to be, and I private message. I said, you're not going to lose friends. You're going to lose 40 to 50% of your business, because it doesn't matter what you post, which side you're on, red or blue, 40% of the other side will automatically shut you off and their money because they don't agree. It's just not, you're going to lose a few friends and get unfriended. Business down. In this case, it's if your business is important to you, your money is important to you, you live in these gyms, stay off social media politically, because you're just alienating it. Same thing back to the mask. The mask could become a total political thing, which is a shame. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's so, you wear a mask in a gym because it's a good business decision, because it protects the 1/3 of the people that are reluctant to come back. And yes, you're going to have those guys that come in and go, oh, you're wearing a mask today, man. What are you, a sheep? Well, that guy's got to go. Mm-hmm. Because most of the guys secretly want you to wear them. And the other people are waiting to see if you will wear them to keep me safe. So the guys that opened without the mask, and one owner was, I'm talking to this guy from his staff, he goes, no, we're not going to wear masks in here because we don't want the members to think that they could get sick in this gym. That's the dumbest ass thing I've ever heard. Well, yes, you're going to get sick in the gym. How do you disrespect my employees? That's an obligation. They work for me. I have to take care of them.
Yeah.
Sexual harassment, I'm going to solve that in 24 hours. If a client goes after it legally, I have to, but I'm going to protect my staff. I'm not going to let anybody insult my staff. They're my team. I'm going to stand with them. How can I not make them wear masks when people are dying of that age? Now, if you don't believe in this stuff, then I really don't believe that 140,000 people committed suicide to make the president look bad. I don't believe that. So we know there is a death rate, whether you're left, right, red, or blue. There's a death rate associated with a virus that is we don't go away in the spring. It may get worse in flu season, but this is a business decision you're making to protect your investment. And we have to be stronger with it. And we have to stand up for our clients, but we also have to look at that 1/3 of the members. So reiterating that rant, if you opened without mask and without safety protocols and 40%, 50% of your clients come back, that's all you're going to get. You will get no more clients back. Now you're a startup business, you have to build again. If you open with the safety protocols, which a lot of my regular clients I talk to on the phone months when the virus hit, new facility, 8 months. He only had 55 clients, but he was profitable. Small town, it was working. 55 one-on-one and small group clients. He called me and he was laughing on the phone. He and his wife, they had big discussions over drinks that I was crazy because you're telling us to do stuff that nobody in our whole county was doing. So we were debating this. Maybe Tom's lost it. He's too old. He's crazy. Reopened within 7 days. He had 52 of the 55 clients back, and 2 of his competitors went out of business. Just like we predicted, just like I threw out there, that's going to go down. He did. He overkilled it, protecting his business, and he opened with 52 of 55 clients versus guys that say, nope, I don't believe in it. To me, it's just, I'm going to make a statement. I'm frustrated with the state. I'm frustrated with the government. I'm frustrated with all this. So here I am. I'm not going to wear a mask. I don't want my staff to do it. I want anybody to think we're sick in here. And then you got 50% of your clients. And then you get shut down again because your state has to now rethink were they right or wrong. And I don't get into that discussion, but we know California, most of that's shut down again. We know Arizona's shut down. We know most of Florida, the gyms are shut down again. I expect that to happen in Texas. I see it starting to happen in other states. Final point on that, Connecticut. Connecticut adapted a protocol that seems to be emulated now by the other states. 14-foot distancing of equipment. So our guys in the mainstream part, 14 feet distancing, 25% load capacity in your gyms, maybe 50. But I see Massachusetts adapting it, New York's picking it up. So I think that's going to be the protocol for California, Georgia, Arizona, Texas. As they reopen, they're going to have to grasp something. I think they're going to use that protocol. So accepting that means we're going to be under very strange protocol restrictions between now and the end of May next year before this works out. So the message here on this rant is, I've been talking to so many people, Jim, I just want to the message here is you adapt and accept what the reality of your business is, or you just keep posturing, keep blasting on social media how unfair it is. I don't know, wear a mask and all that. You can do all that you want. But sooner or later, it's going to come down to accepting and adapting and evolving or losing your business. And if you're okay with losing your business, I respect that. Take the bullet, hit, go, shut it down. And even the new letter, I'm telling people how to shut their gyms down without getting much more hurt than you have to when you shut your gym down. Because some guys would rather fail to prove they're right than they would to save their own businesses. And I'm okay with that. Everybody deserves the right to fail.
Yeah, and there's a lot that I want to talk about on this podcast, and so I don't want to beat this horse anymore. But I think it's worth mentioning, like you said at the beginning of this bullet point conversation, is that this is going to be our reality, at least for the next year, for the next 12 months. So you better adopt it now and learn how to operate as things are now. And here's the other reality when we're talking about doing safety protocols and procedures correctly and adhering to them 100% is that if you're open for business and you have clients coming in, you have trainers coming in, you have employees coming in, there will be a COVID positive person in your business at some point within the next 11 to 12 months. And so you better be able to cover your ass to say, yes, we were taking temperatures. Yes, we cleaned and disinfected every night in between clients. Clients didn't share equipment. They stayed within social distancing guidelines. We had masks on. You better have all of those protocols and be practicing them to the letter so that when you get that COVID positive client or employee, you can say, we followed all our protocols, so the risk of infection and spreading is much less, but we're still going to take the precaution of shutting down the gym, cleaning and sanitizing everything. And then when we open up, we will reinstitute the safety policies and procedures to make sure that no one gets COVID. Everyone, employees and clients, stay safe. So you better be paying it more than lip service, because it can not only cost you your business, but you might be on the hook. You could be liable. You know, if you don't follow them and then somebody gets COVID in your gym.
Yeah, let me add to that they should have a written set of plan there, an emergency plan, but you need to run it by your attorney, because it varies in state to state on what I can and can't do to my employees. So if for example, we had a guy in Texas that he had somebody came in, tested positive. You know, what do you do? Well, first thing is you have to take immediate action, because if you don't spin the story, the clients will spin it, and it's always worse. Had a guy in Texas that called me on Friday morning, said he had a client come in, and she called and said, look, I tested positive, you should know. And he's gone like, okay. So my first question to him is, what is your protocol? And he said, I don't have one. That's why I'm calling. Okay, 911 call. You know, let's go now. And so we work this. So put your protocol together, have your attorney check it to make sure that legally what you can and can't do. So here's what we did with this guy. First is you have to shut the gym down, and nobody wants to do that. But luckily this was Friday. We got a cleaning crew to come in, fumigate this stuff, and we closed Saturday, Sunday, which we didn't really lose a lot of business. Second thing is, then you have to get tested. Well, he had employees that didn't want to get tested. And so legally, what can and can I not do with my employees to push for the test? So the owner went out and tested. He and his wife both are in and out of the gym. And so they tested negative, but he had one employee that questioned it. One employee refused. Now, my first question to him is, what was your safety protocol? He goes, well, we sometimes wear masks, and my front counter person forgets hers sometime. And so his protocol was already ruined. So you have to assume the virus is in the gym. I heard from him this morning, and he shut down, fumigated, spun the story, told all the clients what we're doing. We had one guy, because it is Texas, that says, I'm not wearing a mask, because that was the protocol going back this week is we're going back to mask. And he had one guy that says, I'm not wearing it. It's my right not to do it. And so they let him go. He's gone. He refused to wear a mask in the gym. So we went all in for mask, all in for safety protocols, spun the story, called the attorney, fumigated the club, and set a procedure. But we lost no members over it except the one guy that was uncomfortable, because the gym owner took control of the situation. But you need a checklist in your gym. Most likely one of your employees is going to test positive before you're going to hear it from one of your clients. But when you do this, pull out the sheet. But again, I highly advocate you start with your attorney on this, because can I force my employees to get tested? Do I want to force them to do that? And what happens if they don't want to get tested? Because I still have to protect my business. I can't pay the employees if the business is gone. But if you create the illusion here, I have seen there is precedent for this in Arizona, and there's precedent in Florida. In Florida, restaurants, when they reopened, went very strong and came out with no mask. We went from 3 weeks to back to 2019. People weren't supposed to be. The state guidelines were no, but they were sitting shoulder to shoulder in bars. Pools were full again and all this. And then boom, here it comes again, the virus. So one of the places within a mile of my house is a little place, really kind of cool, Florida bar, no walls, and you just sit and you can look over at the river, and really cool little place. One of his employees tested. So he shut down for a week, had to fumigate the whole thing. He shut down under protest because he didn't think it was fair that the city recommended he shut down. But he shut down for a week, came back in, and then here's everybody sitting right back at the bar again. And finally, the state comes back and just shut down that type of bar again. But the guy just kept refusing to follow the rules. And what happens is now the state mandates, and that's why we're in the gym business. The state is taking this out of our control. It doesn't matter how much you want to dance and posture. The state and the feds and the cities, so you have to look at cities will dictate separate rules than the county. County will dictate rules. The state will dictate, and there will be federal guidelines. So you're working under all of these. Right now, what I'm seeing is the bad news is for most of us is between now and the end of May, we're going to be working on very high-end restrictions that limit our ability to do business unless we start to change our tools, change our programming, change what we have to do to survive.
Yeah, I agree 100% on that. I mean, if you're resistant or not thinking about it from a business owner standpoint, you're just banging your head against the wall. But I want to move on and we talk about preparing for the long haul, because like you said, and several of your predictions are going to come true. And I have to be honest with you, when all of this started and you said we're going to be closed for 3 months until July, I didn't believe it, but it was true. And a couple of your predictions about this thing came true. So what do you think gyms need to do to prepare for the long haul? Do they need to change their business plan according to what their capacity is? What kind of numbers we talking? Budget, expenses, loans, et cetera, all that good stuff. What's the best thing that studio owners can do to prepare to get through this until May 2021?
Well, let's start with the money first, and we'll come back to the gym itself. You need to restructure all your loans for long term. This is, so for example, one of the recommendations in the letter is, the landlords by now have gotten to the first shock that people are, their clients are hurt, businesses are closing. The landlords now left are most of them, not all of them, of course, most of them are more open to discussions. So if I'm going to go in and say, look, this is going to take me this long to rebuild this, I'm working at limited capacity, then work out a 12-month payment program with your landlord where I might pay half rent now and then 5% more, 5%, 5% more, and start to work up to full rent in somewhere between 10 to 12 months. Start to plan that we're going to be out of money for a longer period of time. SBA is still loaning a lot of money. If I can get an SBA Express loan, $150,000 over 10 years, I'm going to take that money, refinance my debt, and start to push to go forward because it protects my business. If I have investors in, I'm going to go back to them and see if I can restructure this. What I'm trying to do is get free cash flow, meaning cut my expenses down, open up more money because it's going to take more. How much more? It's between now and the end of May, it's going to take three full months of reserve capital. So if my gym is $25,000 a month to operate, it's going to take $75,000 to cover operating losses, meaning shortfalls, each month between now and the time I get through May. Now you can shorten that by redoing your business, we'll talk about, but I need to plan to be out of money for at least a year. So restructuring my debt, trying to borrow fresh money from the SBA, which is pretty easy to do right now. Tried to get my investors to understand this, that I can't pay you back now. We're going to take that 3-year note and turn it into a 10. I've got to cut all that type of stuff that I can. Also, a side note is you guys got to do that personally. Too many coaches are driving brand new pickup trucks and they're living the life before this. And now guys are looking and go, I have no income or limited income, but I still have all my personal debt. So can I dump that new pickup truck? Can I dump the boat? Can I restructure my life? Can I look at my personal mortgage on my home and do that? What can I do? Can I bring in a roommate if I'm in an apartment? What can I do to lower my personal expenses? Because you have to look at this as not, I'm going to start making money in 2 months. I may not be able to make money as I used to do it for almost a year. So personally do that. Now in the business itself, the client has changed. The client has evolved. Their expectations are kind of evolving faster than the gyms are adapting to them. So the client, that one-on-one client is there. They've always been there. But here's a prediction I made, and I was right on it, but wrong on it. I was talking as early as March that 30% of all the gyms in the country will either fail during the first closure or within 90 days of reopening. I think that number is going to be light. I think it's going to be probably, my guess is as much as 40% now. So I'm seeing that, half the clubs in one market on Cape Cod closed down. Half the clubs, half the competitors closed down in one market. You're running a 50% closure rate. That's incredible. So there's clients out there floating around that don't have a gym, or they don't trust their gym because they never did the right things. So if I'm going to grow my business, I'm going to evolve my business toward heavy emphasis on one-on-one, heavy emphasis on small groups up to 4, because the clients want to come in. They don't want to share equipment. I come to your gym, you take me to a designated area that's just for me as a one-on-one client. I use that kettlebell. I use that medicine ball. I use those bands. My coach is right here. I don't have to share. Nobody else touches my equipment. I go home. Clients feel safer in that environment. You have a mask on. I have a mask on. Yes, it's inconvenient. Get over it. And we're doing our workouts, and boom, small group. I've been advocating for years on the 300 square foot pod. 300 square foot pod, I can social distance and keep people apart in the pod, but they don't share equipment. They come in, they get fresh gloves on if you're using gloves, and I use my equipment. My coach is there, everybody's spread out. I don't have to wander through the whole gym next to the guy down in the end that's cheating with his mask down and hyperventilating. I can protect my clients by keeping them in designated areas. Those clients are coming back and they want to be in the gym. The real guys that are in trouble are the guys that are doing team only concept, easy money back in the day, and they're team only, but they don't have the small group client. They don't have the one-on-one client because all we do is team. Well, now you're dependent on one product, and that product is going to be the most legislated product of all the things we do, because you're going to have load limits on your room, social distancing requirements, and even then people are not going to feel trustworthy because I still got 20 people trying to swing a kettlebell in too little of a space. So we have to evolve to match. And then final thing on this particular rant is the client has changed. The client is moving beyond just training. The guys are still advertising, I get results and weight loss. And the client right now at this stage, and I believe through the end of this year, doesn't care about that anymore. One, market, advertise, can you keep me safe? Can you keep me safe in your gym? So I want to see every week coming out of every gym is some kind of testimonial where, yeah, I went to Jim's gym and man, I feel so safe in there, and so, everybody keeps me safe here. I'm comfortable coming. That's gold. I've got to get that out 7 days a week, $2 or $3 a day, let it float. I need to do 2 or 3 of those a week between now and the end of the year. The gym owners are getting fatigued. They're starting to go, okay, the protocol slips. The safety videos that they ran when they closed are slipping because I'm burning those up. You're not. Run those till the end of the year, at least to the end of the year. So, and I want the owners in the camera going, look, if your gym's closed or you don't feel safe in your gym, come see me. And we have small designated areas where you don't have to share equipment. It's wiped down before and after each workout. I've got space here. And then the bigger picture here is I recommend, and it's working very well all around the world, is a 6-week mini membership. And I want them to call it that, a mini membership. and the 6 weeks in a training gym for $199 to $299. And they come in, and the only thing we guarantee them is you'll have a coach with you every time you come in. So again, 2 tracks, 2. I've got the owner going, look, if your gym's closed, I'm still here. You know, our gym is here and we're safe. We're still here because we're the safest gym in town. If your gym's closed or you don't feel comfortable, come try my mini membership, see what we do here. Then I want the clients to talk about how safe they are in the gym, and then we tie that to the 6 week. When the client comes in, look at the client, make a judgment on them. If they're 55 years old, then give them one-on-one a week for 6 weeks and throw them into some small group. If the guy comes in, he's 35, then throw him into mostly small groups and maybe 2 one-on-one. Individualize. This gives you great conversations online and on the phone. So if the guy actually calls and says, you know, what's it include? And I say, well, we ask these questions. Yeah, well, I'm 55 and I'm a golfer and I'm doing this. Okay, great. Here's what I think we can do for you. And then you're going to design it for him. So it gives you a great conversation point to individualize it, which is what people want. So the client is moving beyond training. The client is looking for us as a total solution to protect them in life. That's where the client has changed the most. The client doesn't look at the gym as a gym to lose weight. They look at it as, you're like my doctor, keep me safe. So we have to get after training, stress management, meaning meditation, stress management tips. We need to get in nutrition beyond weight loss. We need to get beyond weight loss in nutrition, target specific, guys over 60, people, how do I keep my kids safe? I'm going back to the workforce. What's a good, you know, how do I eat to keep my immune system up? And then restoration of movement. And so we have to look at these clients holistically 360 degrees. We have to look at the client as a total solution. And we don't. We just train them and then we send them home. Well, the client doesn't want that anymore. The client's past that. They keep me safe, Jim. You know, I trust you. You're a professional, and I need you to show me some love here and show me some support by keeping me safe. So big thing is, I'm going to jump right into this and just keep going because I'm feeling it today.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, well, let me jump in there real quick because I agree with you 100%. Like what you have to change in your club and with the whole marketing, because I think right now the bright spot in all of this is that it could be a golden opportunity for the smaller studios and for personal training. It's both small group and one-on-one personal training, because people are going to want to go to the big box gyms. So they're going to gravitate towards some kind of studio because it is safer, has the potential to be safer. And 2, a lot of other studios and training businesses are going to go down. And so you're going to have clients with no trainer who are going to be looking for another facility. But in order to capture that, you have to dot your I's, cross your T's when it comes to safety policies and procedures. So I agree with you 100% on that one. So what were you gonna jump off into next? Because
the online supporting it. Yeah, the online's got to support it. So to finish that thought is, if I'm going to rebuild my gym around more intimate workouts, one-on-one and small group, controlling situations, I have to set up a controlled environment. If there's one term you have to learn in the gym business for the next 12 months, it's how do I establish a controlled environment? So if I'm setting that up, so I'm looking for controlled space, but now we need to support the client. So I want to see them do 6 days a week nutrition tips. Colin McGarty, our friend at Seacoast Kettlebell, he was way ahead of his time when he was doing these brilliant, from his nutritionist, they were really recipes shot in, I think in her kitchen, but they were fun. He put cool music to them, but anybody could rip these off and do them. They were brilliant. Well, I'm going to send out one of those a week. I'm going to send out nutrition tips for your kids. I'm going to send them out for working in an environment, how to eat out at lunch now when you're basically doing nothing but takeout. I can do that 6 days a week. I'm going to send out guided meditation at least 2 to 3 times a week, guided meditation. If you don't know how to do it, find somebody that can, but send out like 10-minute guided meditations where, hey guys, put this on, just sit on the floor, grab a pillow, and let's de-stress for 10 minutes. So that's got to show up 2 to 3 times a week. And then restoration, flow patterns, where, here's a 3-minute flow. I think that's ideal. We did a lot of research on this. I've worked with Colin and Justin Grinnell and Frank Nash, and we put together a lot of these for some franchises we were working with as a team. And so a 3-minute flow pattern is ideal. So, hey, you're at work, get up, do this 3-minute flow and just kind of work through this. If you want to make it more of a workout, just repeat it 2 or 3 times. If not, just take a break, do a 3-minute flow, go back to your computer. So if I'm supporting these online 6 days a week, my retention of my clients gets higher, which is important. And also, but I attract new clients because none of the other gyms are doing this, because all they're talking about is weight loss and the same stuff we talked about for the last 10 years, which is not relevant anymore. So we have to start talking about what the client wants. But if we're doing that to support our clients, then we're going to attract new clients because we're giving them tools that the other gyms don't have.
Yeah. And I agree with you. I think you have to be creative and evolve to the situation, because this virus isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And like you said, I agree with you. Once flu season hits, it's going to be a double whammy. And I just hope that we don't have to close again. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes for my business, regardless of my personal feelings, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to keep my business open, to keep the doors open. And that means following the safety procedures and protocols. I cannot say that enough. But with that, there are clients out there to be had if you are creative and do the right thing. So I want to talk about, you said this, well, we already talked about it. Big boxes are going to be hurting because they are based on that model, that volume model of cramming as many people in there. Team training model is going to be hurting because, again, it's based on cramming as many people into the class as possible. Those days are gone. So what do you see as the one thing that's working? I mean, is it the studio? Is it small group? How small should they be? Is it one-on-one? What do you think is going to move the needle going forward for the next year?
Let me lay that back up, because you said 2 really important things are leading into that. Let me pick those up and build that from that. Is okay. As the other gyms close, or like the big chains, well, the big chains usually have about 6% of their clients are one-on-one. But if I'm walking into a big box, 30,000 foot gym, some national brand, and I walk up and they reopen, and I sat in a parking lot here. This is how weird I am. I pulled up in the parking lot because we got a big national chain guy not too far from me. So I'm like, who's going into this gym now? This is a weird environment. But you walk out and some guys are wearing masks to the door and then taking them off to go into the gym, which I found hilarious. But you see people walk up and there's like, all of them are the younger folks, the bulletproof forever people. And they walk up and grab the door. And I'm like, I just watched probably 20 people grab that door. So already this chain has probably 300 clubs, and they couldn't solve the getting into the gym part. So there's clients, the training clients are usually better educated. They're more affluent. They're more worldly. They're just the clients. Obviously, that's what we're building training gyms off of. How many of them?
They tend to be older, because then that's when you have the disposable income. Yeah.
Right. So what are those guys doing? Are they seeing the same thing I am? And they won't even go through that big box knowing the kid at the counter doesn't have a mask on. They're going to walk through a crowded gym, sort of crowded these days, not like they used to be, but, and then I've got to walk up and work with my trainer. And now my trainer is going to drag me through an entire gym to share equipment with people that don't practice any social distancing and don't believe that the virus was real. So that training client, he's out there. He's looking for you. So this is a great time. If people stop being pissed and stop being frustrated and stop social media ranting about how unfair the government is, and they actually just looked forward and said, I can make a lot of money right now if I just get tired of being pissed, then the money's there. So you're absolutely right about that. But that client is coming back. So to me, I always, when I try to write something new like that, I take a yellow sheet of paper, pad, draw a line down the middle. What's this client looking for? What's this client hate? So anytime I'm analyzing a new market, I try to do this. So what drove this client out of the gym? What does he hate? Well, he hates sharing equipment. He hates having to go through a questionable environment to get to his training area. He hates the fact that his trainer's not practicing safety protocols, even though he might be wearing a mask. And we're even seeing that now. Just to reemphasize the mask thing, 3 weeks ago, I went into a grocery store and probably 40% of the people had masks. And there were a couple of people that kind of gave me the sneer, and it's like, sheep and all that. And I'm just, quietly walking through like this, like I went a couple of days ago, and I would say 90% in this major chain store, 90% had masks. So even the hardest core non-believers are getting forced by the reality of how we live today to do this. So that client, what's he hate about his gym? Well, he had to touch the door. He had to check in. He had to go to space and share equipment. He has a trainer that doesn't respect him by not wearing a mask. What's the guy want? Well, he wants controlled environment. He wants a trainer that respects and keeps him safe. He wants support beyond the workout because he doesn't know what to eat. He's stressed out. It's pretty easy when you do a simple analysis of who our clients are, and then you build your gym around those clients. There's been a trend in the last couple of years. The thing when I wrote small group, the protocol for small group training, when I kind of made that up or invented it in the 99, right in there, 96 with Parisi maybe, is the time I wrote it for 4 people, because the protocol was I didn't want to buy 4 sets of equipment. I only wanted to buy 2 sets of equipment to keep it cheap. So 4 people made sense, because I could have 2 guys in the power racks, or 2 guys lifting over here on the bars, and 2 guys over here shaking ropes or doing TRXs. So I could get by with half the equipment, and then they didn't have to change it. So how do you make a client more elite? If you think about that client, he's 55 years old. He's either in small group or one-on-one. Guy pulls up in a Tesla. Guy's making, light side 150, probably north of 200. And there, 74% of people in this country make less than 100. That means 24 or 76%. 24% of the people in this country make more than $100,000. Well, our clients are really into that top, 10%. A couple 100,000. So if you look at the guy, we do everything we can to piss this guy off. We charge the guy $500 a month, and then we get mad when he doesn't give us a Christmas present. I should be over there babysitting his kids, washing his car, doing anything in here. But, so we don't value the client. So as you rebuild your gyms, rebuild pod systems or controlled environments throughout the gym. Rebuild with the client in mind that he wants to be isolated, but he wants to be elite. Use the term elite. Let the guy have his space. Let people come in with a minimal amount of check-in. Make sure your door, I can get in without having to touch the damn door. And let people in there, and then follow the protocol so everybody feels safe. And then I have to value those clients. Guys have been laughing about this for years, because I've been talking about it about 3 years, but now I've got a lot of guys doing it. And now they're like, yeah, we hate it when the old man's kind of gets it kind of right, is if you're a training client and you're spending $600 a month with me, I'm going to take $50 a month and spend it on you. I'm going to take $50 of your money, because this is marketing to me. This is retention. Because in a town like St. Louis, where it's really a small town, so to speak, if I spend $50 on it, so this month I sent you a gym bag. Next month, I'm going to give you a bottle of wine. Month after that, $150 protein package with a new shaker bottle. Every month, I'm spending $50 on my one-on-one clients, about 25 to 30 on my small group. That's my marketing budget. Because in a small town, we're talking, hey, where are you training? Yeah, well, I'm over here. Yeah, well, my God, man, it's really cool. Yeah, well, it's the safest and cleanest gym in town. I got a bottle of wine from the guy this week. He's, what? Your trainer sent you wine? How's that work? So we don't value the client. So as you rebuild your business, build more eliteness into the training studio. That's what training studios were invented. Body by Jake, he was the first celebrity trainer. California guy, 70s. He was so ahead of his time. I mean, he was legendary ahead of his time. But he was the first guy to charge big money, work with the celebrities. He created such an elite status for them that we forgot how cool that was. And it was they become the client becomes the superstar. We value the client. Don Saladino does that as well as anybody. He's got one of the highest profile lists in the country. John Krasinski, Scarlett Johansson for years, Hugh Jackman. I mean, Calvin Klein, his list is there. But every time I see Don in action in his gym, he takes them, walks them up afterwards, he gets them a shake. You know, he spends money on them. He spoils them to death because they spent a couple $1,000 to be in the gym that month. So when you rebuild your gym going forward, look at the client that we want and what's it take to steal that client from somebody else, and what's it take to keep that client and service them. Big picture on this, when the restrictions come back and the gyms, here's the thing, we haven't talked about this yet. In fact, I haven't talked about this in any podcast. So as the restrictions come back, once gyms reopen the second time, the states are not going to shut them down a third time. It's almost going to be impossible to put that genie back. But they will make you operate under extreme restrictions. So if I'm going to try to defend a training gym, I can't defend 30 people shoved on treadmills like some of these national circuit gyms. I can't do that. But I can defend one-on-one. I can defend small group because the limit's of 4. And going forward, if I'm getting more money from fewer clients, my business now I'm not going to be hurt by the fact that you can't have groups. So we've got to move away from the groups. We've got to move away from that mentality of 30 or 40 people. My solution for that, to answer the rest of your question, is if you have group training, dilute it. Take away traditional 30 people running down the turf, break it into boxing, which I can do in smaller groups and isolate, get into meditation within the gym, 20-minute meditation sessions where I can sit and let people work, get into flow patterns where they can come in and do a half an hour restoration under a controlled environment. Nobody's breathing heavy. I can control the spacing a lot easier. I'm giving them alternative to group instead of that. And I can throw in cycle, which I can take 6 or 8 bikes in the training gym, space those out. If I've got the right fans and everybody's breathing in the right direction, that's an easy controlled environment. So I can rebuild my group by adding different products and controlling the environment. So if I can control the distancing in the environment going forward, I adapt my tools to what the states will not shut me down on. I give up 2019, like the team training that we used to do. I can make a lot of money because there's clients out there going, just send me somebody that can save my ass. And that's the new training gym. The new training gym done right is going to make more money than we ever dreamed of making because the clients want more from us. They'll pay much more to be safe in the environment.
Yeah, and there's a couple of prerequisites to that. One, you have to be professional and look professional, conduct yourself in a professional manner, and you have to follow the safety protocols and procedures there. I said it again. I'm going to get it in as much as I can. But here's the other thing is that, and I have to credit my general manager, Debbie, with this, is that we realized that this wasn't going away and that we were going to have lower capacity for quite some time, probably next year. So we raised our prices for new clients, and we raised them significantly because we figured, hey, if we're going to have less capacity, less clients, and that was our goal anyway, to have less clients and more money. And so we raised our prices significantly. We've been open 4 weeks, and we've had somewhere between 12 and 13 new clients in that time, and not one of them has blinked at the higher prices. So I know for some owners, it's probably counterintuitive to raise prices on that one-on-one and small group model, but would you recommend that right now?
Yeah, and man, you just said something so cool there. If I've got the team player in there, that 24 to 36-year-old person that just loves the team, well, that price is being driven down. Prior to the virus, was being driven down. Team training was dying anyway. It's been dying for 2 years. Everybody keeps hanging on to it because, oh my God, somebody over here made a lot of money doing it. And guys like Frank, such an outlier, such a good businessman, is still out there making money with it. But the rest of us out in the real world it's fading. It's diluted. There's too many imitators. You just keep cramming more people in the box. Well, that price was falling. that whole boot camp, whole, 1,800 square feet with 40 people doing circuits in there on cardio and stuff, started to come down. The price was coming down. So when trainers are reluctant to raise their price, they go, well, my team guys won't pay it. They'll complain. You're right. They won't. The other guy that other 36-year-old guy that happens to be, out of his house, making 150 to driving his Tesla, the difference between 300 a month or 375 a month is the difference to him is one bottle of wine at Capitol Grill a month. It's nothing to him. If you're 25 years old, you got 5 roommates and you're paying everything you got to $129 for team. Well, $75 is a third of your money, a half, in this case, a half of your money at 129, but it's a huge amount of money to you. The percentage is so crazy. So we don't understand that if I raise the money for the small group of one-on-one and give back to them, I'm going to say that one more time, take a budget, $50 for each one-on-one client a month and put that money back into them with really cool gifts. Small group, $20, $30. If you got it, spend it back. That's marketing and it's retention. If I take that elite client and project him forward, he stays longer, he pays longer, he's just less disruptive. If I'm spoiling him to death with the elite loot, then he's more likely to refer, and I can keep the prices. The only thing is the only caveat on it is don't raise existing clients' prices. Raise prices going new clients forward. Always honor the deals you've made because they paid you the last couple of years. Don't raise their rates, but set a date like September 1st and raise your rates. Normally, most gyms can go between a 10% to 20% raise for new clients forward and be okay.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And we've covered a lot, but one more thing that I want to cover because I thought it was really neat. And I've thought about it, but no one's ever mentioned it until I read it in your letter. And that is, what if I have to close? What if I have to make that call to close my business forever? I'm looking at the numbers. I've been, my business has been struggling, barely making it, just skimming by. COVID hit. The numbers don't make sense. It's inevitable. I got to shut the doors. What do I do then?
Sadly, and you hate to admit this as a business consultant, but I've in the last, what is today, 14th? So going back through probably the end of May, so 6-7 weeks, I've closed at least 10 gyms. And some of them have been friends for 20 years. And there's a point where what you're doing doesn't work anymore for a variety of reasons. One guy, his business model was wrong. One guy, his rent factor was so stupid it didn't make sense to go forward. One guy got in a warfare with his landlord, was an older guy, went kind of crazy, had a lot of properties his daughter was running, but he got mad because a couple of clients missed and he declared war on all his tenants. So we just shut that gym down and went completely online, completely just switched over to an online basis. A variety of reasons. The number one killer is the gym owners that the gym business attracts the best people in the world. Most people don't know that I do a lot of consulting outside the industry. I do a lot of financial service companies. I work with all kinds of different businesses through the years, some very large companies. But my heart's always been here. My books are here. My workshops are mostly here because these are the best people in the world. But the best people in the world doesn't make you necessarily a good business person. So a lot of people buy jobs. They borrow enough money, open a little 4,000 foot training gym, and they take 60,000, 70,000 a year out of it. And that's good money, they're feeling. And they bought themselves a job. They borrowed, $250,000 from their parents to buy themselves a job, which they could make more if they just went and trained at somebody else's gym. But it's their gig, it's their business. The problem with these guys is they turn 40s and sometimes early 50s, and they wake up and they've got $2,000 or $3,000 in the bank, and they've got a new truck payment, and they got kids who are getting a little older that have higher demands for cash. And So you push, you got to get that business up. Maybe you take 80 grand out a year. So you're still there. The problem, if there's anything that goes wrong, a sick child, a virus or something, the gym was never designed to survive. It was really designed as a paycheck for the guy. He ran it badly from the day he opened it. There is no reserve capital. I tell all my clients they should have at least 3 months reserve capital. They should have 6 months personally. And 20% of the guys listen to me, and some are close and some don't. And the guys that weren't, they failed. Some guys closed for legitimate reason. A couple from Michigan, I love these guys. They're some of my favorite people I've ever worked with. But the concept was wrong. He had a 15,000 foot gym, 10,000 of it was $19 a month, and he had a 5,000 foot training gym. He was brilliant at the training gym. This old gym was part of his history. But he's in Michigan. 6,000 people in his town lost their jobs in the car industry. So it didn't make sense. Guy wasn't sleeping. He's stressed. He's on the phone. I can't let this guy die over this gym, 70 hours a week. So the right thing for him was to close it down. He was not personally guaranteed on the lease. We could shut it down, and he's healing. He'll open something again, maybe, or maybe he'll do something else, but he's healing. Closing down the gym is the right thing. My only advice on that is you have to look at this. There's no shame in shutting a gym down in the middle of a worldwide pandemic, and America is the heart of the pandemic now. There's no shame in walking away from a business, but you have to do it right. So the first thing is get an attorney, and you have to protect yourself. What you have to kill is the liability trail. A liability trail with the landlord is, did you sign personally, or did you, personal guarantee, or did you sign corporately? Well, your attorney needs to figure that out. There's protocols for each of those. You need to shut down and kill your little corporation, your little company, because if that company stays alive, one, they still come after you for taxes, but two, if somebody gets hurt 5 years ago in your gym and they go, well, that wrist when I fell down, running up that hill out in the park that day with this guy, I'm going to sue him now. Well, if the corporation's dead, then you kill the liability trail. So you need an attorney to help you shut this down. You may have to take personal bankruptcy to get the landlord off your butt. You know what? That used to be a big deal 20 years ago. Now it's nothing. It's irrelevant. So you may have to take personal bankruptcy. You need an attorney to talk to that because you need to protect your personal assets. And you need to be able to protect yourself, your family, and to do this. And many people can, you might have a 5,500 foot gym, bad landlord situation. We need to shut it down. But you know what? 90 days from now, you can open a 1,500 foot little clubhouse model, get 75 clients, and probably make more money with half the stress. There's always a way forward, but sometimes you have to end what you have to get to the next door. I've got to slam this door shut because no doors are going to open until I get out of this. So there's a point of no return. No, there's not probably anybody you're going to talk to of all the guys you interview are going to tell you how to get out of a business that we all love, because everybody thinks they can save them all. And during normal times, I believe every gym probably can be saved. In worldwide pandemic, sometimes the best decision is to go home and just move on to something else, create a new business, create a new way forward, end it. And it's the right thing to do for a lot of people. And we're going to see more closures. That's why I think we're going to move beyond the 30% rate, and we're going to move into the 40% rate for closures nationwide. Chains have already shut down. They get all the glory. They're in all the magazines. You see them on CNN. This chain shut down 100 units. This chain cut down 30 corporate. What you don't see is our friends, the guys that we love in the training gym that are quietly going out the back door, and they're faltering more than anybody would believe. The number of small training gyms that have already closed is just absolutely astronomical scale of what's already closed, and it's going to continue. It's going to be a real tough year, but there's a way forward. There's a path forward. There's a way to do this. If you're willing to let go, let me end with that. If you're willing to let go of your frustration, let go of your anger at the city, state, politics, you let go of the rants. If you get up one day and go, look, my business, I need to save it. I need to dump all this garbage and work on the business going forward. There's always a way forward. But I'll end this, Jim, as I started it. 2019 is not coming back.
Yeah.
2019 is not, we're not going to get back to that normalcy. There's a new normal, and you either adapt to the new normal, evolve your business, evolve your life as a coach, start to rethink about what the next year is going to be, or you cling to the past and you stay angry because it's not fair. I can't open. It's not fair. I have to wear a mask. It's not fair. The clients don't want to come back. It's not fair. It's not fair. Good. And when you lose your gym, then we'll start again.
Yeah. And I hate that term new normal. I think everybody does, but I think it should be changed to the normal now, because that's what it's going to be for quite some time. And there's, like you said, there's no shame in closing your business. For a lot of people, that can be their most successful failure. Like we ask all the guests on this show, is like, what's your most successful failure? And it's usually something devastating like closing a business. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. It is what you make it. But I don't want to end on such a morbid note of closing your business through all this. So give me some characteristics of owners who are not only going to make it through this, but are going to thrive through this.
Give you a weird analogy on that. I was in Canada going to Alaska last, God, that seems like forever ago, but it was, not that far ago. And wandering around Vancouver, I went to an art gallery, and there was a famous, he was born in Switzerland, but he lived in Italy till he died, Giacomo Comunati, I think it is. I can't, I'm forgetting the actual spelling of his name, but Italian, about this long,
Yeah.
And I'm going through this, and I got interested in him, so I started reading about him, and finally got a book about the guy. And one of his things was he would start with this clay sculptures and eventually turn them into bronze, but he would work on them slowly over time, and it was always, as he called it, the art of reduction. And he would slowly just take a piece out here, press it in here, shape it here. It was never adding. It was always reduction, because he believed that the art of reduction revealed the true character of the piece. Well, the virus has, in essence, done that to all of us. And there's two clients, two people, two types of owners that have evolved. And the virus has, through the sheer pressure of just only 3 months, has started to shape who we are. And I'm shocked at how many people it revealed: ugliness, pettiness, anger. It reveals frustration. Guys locked up with their spouses. You get better or you get out. And the virus revealed the strength of some and the weakness of many. And that's sadly the weakness is it's showing itself. Owners again are so frustrated that they're burning down their own businesses because they're angry, and the virus brought out the worst in them. So what are the traits of people that will go forward? It's that sense of always looking at this and going, okay, where's the goodness in this? And that's the question I had to train myself 30 years ago to ask, because I was that guy. Where's the goodness in this? Where's the good thing in this? So, okay, we're in the middle of a virus, and where's the goodness? Well, man, there's a lot of chance to score and make money because there's clients looking for a new gym. Where's the goodness in this? Okay, I'm locked down with my family and my kids, and I'm working at home. I can't go anywhere. Where's the goodness in this? Because I put my tent up in the backyard, and I got the kids sitting around a fire, and my phone is away, my iPad's away, and I'm sitting out there holding the hand of somebody I love, drinking a wine after the kids went to sleep, and staring out into the woods or the water or something. I'm sitting there going, okay, man, this could be the best days of your life. So the guys that are thriving in this, that will make money, are the people that start with that question: is where's the path forward? Where's the goodness in this? So the traits are, you have to be resilient. You have to be somebody that shapes your environment, is not shaped by your environment. So, and that's what happens. The virus has shaped people and revealed their negativity, their nastiness. Two is they're not angry people. They're forgiving. That what happened is divisive as our country, is today, for whatever reason, is there is really, for a lot of the owners that are failing, it's my way or there's no way. And if you don't agree with me, then I'm cutting you off social media. I hate you. I'm unfriending you because I posted. And we forget that it takes years to build a good brand. One post drunk on a Saturday afternoon can destroy your whole brand. 10 years of work gone because you got drunk and had posted or reposted some kind of something. Side note, if I could teach anybody anything is never believe a single word you ever read on social media. Just don't.
Or even in the regular mainstream media these days.
Yeah, well, there is truth out there, but nobody wants to admit that it's there.
Yeah.
We tend to believe political commentators, which are entertainers, instead of actually searching through the whole debris to find out where is the real news.
Mm-hmm.
And we forget that who would be the three biggest ones? Hannity, Don Lemon, and Rachel Maddow. Oh my God, there's three extremes there, right?
Mm-hmm.
In essence, they're all the same person. They make millions of dollars a year to give their opinion. They get paid to be entertainers. They're like the late night, the Jimmys, the Kimmels and stuff. They're the late night hosts. They're Conan O'Brien. They get paid to be smartasses. And they're all three of them are really good at it. They just take different bends to do that. Well, that's not news, that's entertainment. So there is real stuff. So your ability to sort through the fluff and get down to what is real. What is real out there in this business? Well, if you kind of look at the bigger picture, the virus is there. It's not going away. We see the states start to enact this, whether you agree or not. See, most people would rather argue that it's right or wrong than say, where's the plan in this? How do I get forward through this? So the biggest trait is we can look at the same problem. The angry guy looks at it and says, that's not right. I'm not doing that. I'm fighting back. It's taking my rights away. And the other guy goes, I think I could make $1 million by doing this. And it's the ability to give up your personal nonsense and the ability to see the picture as part of a bigger plan to go forward in your life and to get away from that day-to-day just anger, pettiness. I've been on social media writing 4 or 5 times a week since 2011. I took 3 weeks off because no matter what I wrote, by the 12th post, it would turn into a political dogfight and anger and people coming off me offline, coming after me like, you have no right to do this. It's like, man, I'm talking about change. Well, change is this, and the politician, I don't care about them. The world is changing. Are you? So are you open to change? Is your mind open? Is your mind closed? Or is your mind open to accept what's possible? Mm-hmm. And final trait on that, man, just be open to the reality in front of you. I can't change the reality, but I can change how I think about what I want to get done in my life. And I have to adapt. Did I ever think at this age, I had 20 gigs sponsored this year, 20 workshops all around the world. I had a week in London, 11 days in London, would have gone to Australia, would have done all kinds of stuff, all gone this year. Every single thing was canceled. Do I get mad or do I figure out a way to stay in touch with my people, help people, try to keep them alive, save as many gyms as I can? So I took more calls in 3 months than I did in all of last year. There's always a way forward. If you care enough and you want to help, there's a way forward. You get angry, I could have been pissed off and, oh, this is terrible. Yeah, I lost a lot of money this year. Tons of money I lost this year. I regret that. But can I get angry about it? It's out of my control. What can I control? Tomorrow. Yeah.
I love that. And there was a joke it was told to me as a joke, but I take it as a fable. And I think it applies to what you were saying about, you can take 10 years to build your business and destroy it in an instant of bad judgment. And it was actually kind of funny how I used it. I was training this lady. I'd been training her for a couple of years, finally convinced her husband to come in and train with me. So her husband comes in, and this guy is a character. He reminds me a lot of you. And we wound up becoming really good friends. But the first training session, first time I'm training this guy, and this was when I was doing one-on-one training, he looked at me and he was dead serious. And he said, "You trying to fuck my wife?" And I said, okay. I said, have you ever heard of the story of Seamus? And I'll use his first name, Mark. Have you heard the story of Seamus? And he said, no. And I have a shitty Irish accent, so I don't even try it. But, you know, Seamus is sitting at the bar. The bartender goes, what's the matter, Seamus? You look down. He goes, see those houses up there? And he said, yeah, those are beautiful houses. They've been up there for a long time. The people that own them love them. And they've been, you know, they've had them for a long time, raised kids in them, the whole nine. He goes, I built those houses. Did they call me Seamus the house builder? He says, no, Seamus, they don't. And he goes, you see that dock out there? He goes, yeah, that's a great dock. I've always admired it. You know, people, you know, use it to, you know, swim off of, fish off of. You know, the fishermen, you know, dock their boats off of there, you know, to make their livelihood off that dock. It's a great dock. Seamus says, I built that dock. He goes, do they call me Seamus the dock builder? Bartender says, no, Seamus, they don't. Seamus finally looks up at the bartender and he goes, but you fuck one sheep, you know, and that's what you're known for. You know, wipes out all your other accomplishments. And so that's what I said. That's what I said to that client. And he laughed and he got it, right? You know, I'm not willing to risk everything that I've built my livelihood just to bang your wife. You know, I'm much more professional than that, you know, and so he appreciated that. And we're still good friends to this day. You know, I love the guy. But, you know, it applies to what you just said about, you know, for me, it's about, you know, not following the safety protocols and procedures. Again, I can't say it enough. You know, you can work your ass off to try to build this business, save your business, but you do one stupid thing, you know, and it can kill your business, you know. So the moral of the story is don't be like Seamus.
Yeah, I want to, you and I just keep talking. We could go for days on this, but I saw a social media post, and it was, the setup on it was, you know, good coach. I've known this person for a long time. And he goes, I posted something pretty, you know, it was, again, it doesn't matter which side you are in, it was a pretty extreme political position. And he ended it at the end. And he says, you know, I'm going to lose a lot of friends over this and stuff. And he just, and so I called him and I, you know, I've known the guy for so many years. I said, look, man, you know, none of my business, but I saw your post today and, you know, thanks for taking the call, but you know, that's going to kill you. And he was angry with me for even calling, which, you know, so what? And he goes, I have a right to do this. And I have, you know, that's my right. And I can express myself online. And the thing, and I think we talked about this on your last show, but it's, you having the right to do it doesn't make it right for what you're trying to do with your business. It's, you have the right to do it, but the client, again, has the right to walk away from your business. If you really want to be somebody that makes a difference, then stop posturing on social media. Stop believing that some kind of political rant means anything. It changes nothing. So don't, I don't even think you feel better when you do it, but you throw out this rant and then people dogpile you and you think, oh, you know, that's not taking a stand. That's not taking a position. That's not expressing yourself as we are in this country. If you want to take a stand, go stand in the streets on either side and go. If you want to take a stand, find somebody you like politically and donate a lot of money. If you take a stand, do an organization to raise money for your best politician. If you want to take a stand, find a charity that you love and raise a lot of money. Donate 10% of your money for a year into that charity and get known for supporting it. If you want to be somebody, stop pretending and posturing and dancing on social media like that makes a difference, and be somebody of action. Do something. You know, posturing, and that rant on social media cost you 40 to 50% of your business, and it changed nothing. Your mind ever been changed by any kind of social
Just
media
the opposite.
rant?
Just the
Remember
opposite.
5 years ago? Geez, we used to argue about training methods online. God, I miss those days. You know, somebody go like, yeah, I did a goblet squat, man, and the elbows need to be here. And somebody go, no, that's wrong. The elbows got to be here. And you know, there'd be 45 posts arguing about technique.
Right. Exactly.
I miss those days. Or,
Yeah.
I can't believe you're using a protein powder. That protein powder is dog crap. You got to be doing.
Yeah.
Those were the days. But
Yeah.
so now we argue about politics, and now we alienate. 40, 40, 20. 40% of the people, one party, 40% of the people, the other party, 20% in the middle, drink too much like I do and don't care. And anytime you post toward one side, you're alienating at least 40 to 50% of the clients that don't have, especially in today's market. So just tell them, Jim, to stop. Tell them to give it up. Tell them to be neutral. Just protect your business. Your business is more important than posting on social media that means nothing, changes no one's mind, changes no opinions, makes no difference in the election, makes no difference to anybody in the world. That post made you feel good and it destroyed your business. Yeah. You have the right to do it. I give you the right to do that, every owner. But I'm also telling you, move on. There's better ways. Again, back to what you said a while ago. What's the trade? The trade is to understand that the long-term projection of my business and selling this for a lot of money and retiring and taking care of my family is more important than a social media rant that changes nothing.
You hit the nail on the head, and that's a great spot to end it on, because we could talk forever, and I think we're almost there. We're about this far from forever, right, at this point.
Yeah.
So Tom, tell people where they can find you, get in touch with you, get more information, have vent their political rants, etc.
I'm going to make this simple. I'm not teaching the rest of the year. Perform Better. We agreed not to do any live workshops. So the best way to find me is, you know what? Let them email you. And then I've got the series of letters. If they haven't got the letters, I'll send them the newest one. If we don't have your email in the base, just email you, pass it on to me, and I'll put them on the mailing list and let them know what we're doing. I'm one of the rare people on your show, Jimmy, that I don't have anything to sell. I just, yeah. If you need help, find me, in that case. But I'll be happy to send the newest letter. It popped up. It probably went out a half an hour ago. So it's around, it's, I don't know, 8 or 9. I've lost count of the series, but I'll keep everybody updated with those. But I'd rather they come to you. So, we'll get it back to you, and then they just forward it on. I'll get everybody the letters. We'll add them to the list, and we'll go from there. The Business of Fitness, I do have a website out there. It's in transition, but we have a lot of products and workshops and everything on it. You graciously put that at the last time. Just, add that this time. The Business of Fitness, you can find some of my work there and some of the legacy tools that people can do. But just, if you need help, reach out. We're around,
Yeah, and I've been plugging that Business of Fitness on the podcast mid-roll. But Tom, this is always great. And my email is trainerjim, JIMFE @gmail.com. Trainerjim, JIMFE, all one word, @gmail.com. I'm working on changing that email, but for now, that is the email. But you can also go to trainerjim.net, click on this episode of the show notes, and all the links will be right there. Tom, as always, it's a pleasure, man. And we're going to do that cocktail hour. I'm going to set it up, and then I'm going to shoot you some dates, and we'll make it happen. So you will be on the show. You will be on the show again. I promise you.
Thanks, my friend. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Tom. Have a great rest of your day, man.
Hey, check your intro. I think you said ASF instead of AFS.
Okay. All right. I'll definitely check that. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks for
your sponsor.
Oh, no. Thanks for catching that. I appreciate it. All right. And then I got to go. I got a staff meeting in like 3 minutes, but I'll shoot you those dates. And then we'll go from there.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Thanks as always for the opportunity. Let me know, buddy. See ya.
All right.
Okay,
Stay safe. All right. Bye.